Hi everybody, little tea time with Mr. Gould today. I'm going to cover a couple of things that I think you should be working on. Hold on, sippy sippy. All right, so one of the things you should be working on today is a little review for the scientific revolution. I think we can't discount the impact of Galileo on the scientific revolution and moving society from more of an analytical view of the world and not necessarily a solo religious view of the world. Now, of course, some of these scientists are names that you know, like Bacon, Descartes, Galileo, Copernicus. And then as you answer some of the questions in your Castle Learning, you'll probably realize that there are a wide variety of scientists to choose from. Just remember, when you see names like Galileo, it's going to be the right answer. Things like that. It's Galileo in this whole time period was the very beginning of our school year. We learned about him at the same time we learned about the Enlightenment, and I apologize if you hear my dogs walking back and forth behind me. They're not used to me being home at this time of the day, so they're very interested in what I'm doing. All right, let's get to some stuff about that essay that I assigned you on the essay on the human rights violations, maybe power. Those might be a couple enduring issues you want to look at. I got a few questions from kids about like where in the review book you can find information on this stuff. Well, you can find it, first of all, let's remember your review book has an index. It's got a glossary. It's got all those things. And in the index, which is actually, oddly enough, not in the very back of the book, remember, a lot of us tagged this page. We might have folded it over and put it someplace. This index will help you if you want to just look up different topics based on the documents. But also this index will help you because you'll see a lot of other terms that you might be able to use. The other thing that might also help you is actually looking in the glossary and looking for like some straight up definitions in your review book. That will help. In general, look at the human rights violations as not as independent events, but they are all connected. Genocide has been something that the world's had to deal with for a long time. Before and after the Holocaust. The Holocaust is one that I'm sure you're familiar with, not just from class, but also from history in general. The Holocaust was so severe, such a severe genocide, that it's got its own name. So that's one of the reasons why we call the Holocaust and other genocides. All right, so that is all I have for right now, but I will have a little bit more in a few minutes. Okay, everybody. So let's dig into this awesome review book that we should all have home. If you can, go get it. I'll give you a second. I'll have a little tea while I'm waiting. Go get your review book. Go now. Mrs. Gould gave me this mug. Do you think she's trying to tell me something? Okay, so you should hopefully be back by now. If not, pause this because I gotta get going. I got stuff to do. So I want you to open up page 172 in your review book. I want to read a little bit of this to you. I think you probably miss my beautiful baritone, so I'll see what I can do. The Holocaust. I'm going to start right there. So one of Hitler's goals was to create Lebensraum. That's what that word is. It means living space. It's cool. It's a cool word, Lebensraum. German's got a lot of cool words. One of my favorite words in German is ambulance. It's Krankenwagen. I like butterfly. Butterfly Schmetterling. I always think to myself, the Krankenwagen hit a Schmetterling on the way to the hospital. I just enjoy those words. So let's go back to this. One of Hitler's goals was to create Lebensraum, or living space, for Germans whom he considered racially superior. He planned to destroy people he found inferior, as he had outlined in Mein Kampf. Jews were the main target, but he also wanted to destroy or enslave others, including Slavs, Roma, and Sinti, homosexuals, and the mentally or physically disabled. The systematic attempt to destroy an entire ethnic or religious group is called genocide. Now, Hitler committed genocide against the Jews. He began in Germany and then in Austria by limiting the rights of Jews and encouraged violence against them. On November 8th, 1938, organized violence began what is called Kristallnacht. All right, it means the night of broken glass. Now, I want you to think about this. It was organized violence. So, Hitler is a member of the ruling party in the government, and he's leading the country. So this was organized violence committed by the actual ruling party in the government against citizens within that country. There's no way anybody would have felt safe. Back to this. Thousands of Jewish synagogues, businesses, cemeteries, schools, and homes were destroyed. The next day, 30,000 Jews were arrested for being Jewish and were sent to concentration camps. Hitler had originally established these camps for political opponents or enemies of the state. More restrictive laws on Jews and Jewish businesses began. Now, one of those first concentration camps is Dachau. Dachau is a concentration camp I've been to a couple of times. It's got a great museum there. It's just outside of Munich, Germany. It's a devastating place to visit. I mean, it's so thought-provoking and sad, really. It's unbelievable. So Dachau, for any of you guys that might be going off to Europe with a school trip next year, we'll go to Dachau and you'll see it. It tears right at you. If you aren't able to go to Europe and see Dachau, you can go online. The name is Dachu, Dachau. And you can go and you can take a virtual visit of Dachau. I would encourage you to do so. In fact, I'll do my best to post a couple of links to some virtual visits of Dachau. So after this, after the war began in 1939 with the invasion of Poland on September 1st, in Germany and in conquered lands, Jews were forced to live in separate areas or ghettos. Now, ghetto is a term that we use indiscriminately now. We don't use it actually the correct way. Ghettos are wherever you put a like ethnicity or religious group together. So if you were to look around and see a lack of diversity in whatever area you live in theoretically a ghetto. Okay, so we don't quite use it right now. They're using it more correct there. Now, many were used as slave laborers in factories to produce weapons or goods for the German war effort. Plans for extermination were conceived. All right, at the Wannsee Conference in 1942, the final solution was devised. Ineffective mobile killing squads in the Soviet Union were replaced by 6 death camps in Poland, designed to efficiently murder millions of Jews and other people from conquered Europe who were deemed undesirable by the Nazis. At these death camps like Auschwitz, which again, those of you guys that are going to be traveling, we're actually going to be going to Auschwitz. It's outside of Krakow, Poland. Auschwitz, it's going to be an unbelievable experience for those of you that would like to see this. I know Auschwitz has a virtual tour. You can Google and you can see images of Auschwitz today, their museum, and things like that. It's another thing that you can't believe these things actually occurred. It's just so unreal. So anyway. Jews were starved, shot, or gassed to death at Auschwitz. By 1945, more than 6 million Jews and 5 million others died in what became known as the Holocaust. Resistance existed in the form of underground operations in the ghettos, like the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. For anybody that's going to take the opportunity to watch The Pianist, remember, make sure your parents know, all right, I sent out a message. It's not PG-13. Okay, but if anybody's going to take the opportunity to watch it, you'll see their recreation of the ghetto uprising. It's what the main character tries to survive. So, anyway, back to this. Partisans in the forest in the Soviet Union or saboteurs in factories, some non-Jews also saved hundreds, especially Jewish children, but most people remained bystanders. It's unbelievable that most people could just stand by and while this is going on. It's unbelievable. All right, where was I? Some civilians were even collaborators. Although the Allies became aware of the concentration camps, they took limited action. However, there were many individuals who rescued thousands, such as Raoul Wallenberg, Oskar Schindler, and Sheen Sugara. Among the survivors were Elie Wiesel, who recounted his experience in his memoir, Night. Many of you guys might have read it in middle school, and became a spokesperson for human rights victims. He later won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1986 for his efforts. So that's a little section in your review book on the Holocaust. I would encourage you to reread it and maybe even make some notes. Just so you know, a little background on Jews and Jewish persecution. You might remember from Global One, Judaism is like a sister religion to Christianity and Islam. The other thing about Judaism is as Christian Europe took hold, as it became very Christianized in the Middle Ages and into the later Middle Ages, and even at the birth of the Renaissance, Jews were persecuted in these communities. I mean, if you look at it historically, it's hard sometimes for us in our modern age of America to figure out why they were persecuted. Hate is easy. I mean, it's almost so simple to identify something that you don't like, use it as a scapegoat, and that's an excuse for why you are where you are. If that mentality grows, then you start to see persecution of different groups and not necessarily individuals within those groups. And hate of groups is the root problem when it comes to events like this or really any other genocide. Okay, so there's a little recap of how to use your review book. You should be using some of this information as outside information. I encourage you, as I mentioned before, about taking some of the online tours of different museums, and I think you'll find it useful and also lend a lot of depth to this essay. Okay, good luck. I hope you guys are staying safe and doing all your schoolwork and reaching out to your teachers if you need the help. I really appreciate it when some of you guys have got a hold of me. Some of you just checking in on me, which is cool. Mrs. Gould and I are doing fine. Others that need a little assistance, and that's cool too. We don't mind. So I guess I'll talk to you later. I can hear a dog walking behind me. We got to go outside, throw a ball and stuff. See ya. Bye.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began.